No power, no propulsion. Islanders, could you imagine being on a cruise ship for several hours where the power goes out? There's no propulsion. The generators kick on. That's exactly what happened to one of the largest cruise ships in the world with almost 7,000 passengers on board. We will share that story with you on the show today. We're also sharing news from Royal Caribbean and Costa Maya, Mexico, as locals and supporters say that perfect day Mexico isn't so perfect right now. Also going to discuss dancing of the ships. Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean both are changing their U.S. deployments. Ships are changing home ports. And we're getting some news of what's exactly going to happen this week for 2027. We all need some time in the islands. Let's go there now on Island Time. Happy Tuesday, August 26th, Islanders. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by the show today. We're on Island Time. I am Derek. Let's drop our anchors and take some time to relax in the islands together today, discussing the latest in cruising and cruise news. Let me ask you a question at the top of the show today. Do you have that friend? Do you have that acquaintance that just doesn't like cruising and uses every opportunity to send you stories, negative stories on cruising, because they know that it's going to get at you, because they know that it's going to eat at you? I have one of those friends. They shared this story with me yesterday and several times today, and we're going to discuss it on the show today. We're talking about MSC World Europa and the power outage that took place yesterday, not just for 10 or 15 minutes, but for the majority of the day. This is a huge cruise ship, one of the largest in the world. Almost 7,000 passengers, 6,500 around passengers, over 2,000 crew members. So over 8,000 people on this ship, and it lost power yesterday. For the majority of the day, it was an electrical failure that led to a power failure. And you can imagine being on board and the reactions of passengers on board. What's going on? This is just temporary, because this does happen sometimes, but usually it's just a matter of minutes, right? We see that from time to time. This was an all-day event. This was an event that resulted in resources being dispatched. We'll talk about that here in just a second. It is crazy to follow, and I do want to just go ahead and say everything is okay. Power has been restored. Let me just throw that out there at the top of the story, because everything did end up okay. But tugboats were dispatched when power went out on board the MSC World Europa. The emergency generators came on, and it provided things like air conditioning, the ability to make food, keep food cold, heat food up, and different emergency and essential services. Everything happened according to plan when the power went off. That wasn't in the plans, but after it went off, it is in the plans for those generators to kick on, to be able to continue essential services, and that did happen. The Italian Coast Guard responded as well, not just the tugboats that may have needed to be used. They weren't, but they did respond. The Italian Coast Guard sharing this: the situation on board is calm and under control. The weather and sea conditions are favorable, thank goodness. And the essential services for passengers continue to be provided by the onboard generators. Lighting, air conditioning, food operations worked. Power was restored. This happened around between 7 and 8 a.m. yesterday, local time. Power wasn't restored until almost 4 p.m. That's a long time. Of course, there were impacts to the itinerary, impacts to where the ship was going, although she was just 9 or plus miles off the coast of Naples. She did get into Naples. Of course, they check things out, right? Is the ship okay? Is she seaworthy? Do we need to cancel the next cruise? Things like that. It was going to be a turnaround day. Passengers getting off the ship, passengers getting on the ship. There's been no news, by the way, on compensation for passengers. I can imagine some passengers were down there at guest services saying, hey, what are you going to give me? What do you got for me? There's been no news on that. Sometimes these things happen, and not all the time is there compensation for passengers. The ship seems to be doing okay. All the investigations checked out. Turnaround day took place. Some passengers got off the ship. Maybe they were thankful. I don't know. Passengers who were scheduled to get onto the ship got onto the ship, but I had to think, were some of these passengers maybe a little bit scared, apprehensive? Did they think twice, like, hey, baby, did you see what happened? The power went off for half the day. Do you still want to get on board the ship? You guys know how it goes. You get kind of excited the day before embarkation day and on embarkation day. It would take an awful lot to stop me from getting on board that ship. I think in that situation, if I put myself there, I think I'm getting on the ship. I think I trust MSC and officials. I see the response to what happened. I think I'm getting on the ship, but some of you may not agree with me. If you were following this story and you were supposed to get on board the MSC World Europa and the power went out the day before you were supposed to get on board, would you go ahead and get on board? Let us know in the comments section below. We're sharing news next from Royal Caribbean and from Costa Maya, Mexico, as Perfect Day Mexico right now isn't so perfect right now. We're going to have resolution here, but the locals and supporters are raising different questions and concerns about this project of Perfect Day Mexico, which, by the way, if you've been to Perfect Day at Coco Cay in the Bahamas, it's a beautiful place. I was just there last week. I absolutely love and adore it. They've done a great job. They've spent $250 million on this project, but Perfect Day Mexico is going to eclipse it. Perfect Day Mexico is going to be on a greater scale, 200 acres, 30 plus water slides, 24 bars, almost 1 mile lazy river. I think there's 3 bars on the lazy river, guys. They're doing things the right way here. They're building this thing up. I cannot wait to visit it in 2027, but there are some locals and there are some supporters of those locals who say, this isn't so perfect. Have you thought about certain things? Have you planned through certain things? They want to make sure that Royal Caribbean is doing what's best for the local economy, for the local environment, and for locals themselves. Locals and supporters have started a petition with 278,000 signatures. Not all these signatures are local. Some of these are supporters of their voice and their cause. The petition seeks to protect a local fishing village that's there close to Costa Maya. And they're saying, hey, you're going to disrupt nature. You're going to disrupt the environment. You're going to disrupt the coral reefs. You're going to disrupt all kinds of different things in the area if you build this 200-acre place that you plan on building. We have a water shortage already. You're going to use a lot of water. We have concerns, is what the locals are saying. They do not support Perfect Day Mexico in its current form. They think it needs to change. They want Royal Caribbean to come to the table and talk with us. Let's plan through this together. They're calling for the project actually to be canceled as is. They're not against Royal Caribbean coming and building a Perfect Day experience, but the project as is, they say, no, that's not what we want to do. Here's what the petition says. Royal Caribbean plans to welcome up to 20,000 tourists per day, with them tons of chemical sunscreen, plastic waste, water polluting mega cruise ships, and absurd freshwater consumption in a region already suffering from water distress. Royal Caribbean has responded, as they always do, very professional, saying that they do want to work with the locals there. They want to think through some of the challenges and some of the what could be negative impacts on a project like this and try to solve for and think through how can we make this best for you? How can we make this best for the environment? How can we protect wildlife and sea life and coral reefs and all of it? They're thinking through that. Royal Caribbean is dedicated to do that. They're dedicated to the local economy. For the first time, Royal Caribbean is speaking about other cruise lines. A lot of people just assumed that when this Perfect Day experience opened up, that other cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line, Norwegian Cruise Line, Princess, all of them would not be able to visit. And Royal Caribbean is continuing, maybe, we're going to see what this looks like. They wouldn't use the Perfect Day Mexico experience, but Royal Caribbean has said other cruise lines can still continue to visit Costa Maya. We will see what that looks like. We have no logistical planning or strategy that's been shared, but this is news to me. I figured, and so did others, that all other cruise lines would be shut out. We'll see what happens. Islanders, are you excited about Perfect Day Mexico? Do you think that Royal Caribbean needs to think through some of the plans that they have and work with locals? That answer probably is yes. But do you think the project should be canceled as is? I don't think so. Collaboration and cooperation are huge things. They're keys to success, and Royal Caribbean is very successful in just about everything they do. I trust their leadership. I just met with Michael Bailey on board the Star of the Seas last week. He's very thought-provoking person, but includes all parties. They're going to figure this out. They're going to. I have faith in them. Share your thoughts on this story in the comments section below. Are you excited about Perfect Day Mexico and an Icon class ship coming to Galveston? It's going to happen. Michael Bailey heard him say it several times last week. Let's talk dancing of the ships. One of my favorite topics here as someone who cruises a lot, and you probably do too. You go out of some of the same U.S. home ports, which means you cruise on some of the same cruise ships over and over and over. And I appreciate and respect those cruise lines who ever so often, I wish like every 2 or 3 years, sometimes it's much longer, every 5 or 7 years, rotate the ships out, move that ship out, bring another ship in, because I've been on maybe a particular ship 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, 10 times. Rotate the ships, dance the ships around, as John Hild, Carnival's brand ambassador, calls it. That's exactly what's taking place. Carnival Cruise Line has already started this activity for 2027. They've already released some of the dancing of the ships, but it continues tomorrow, John Hild says. So many of you are interested in what's going to take place, especially the news of the Carnival Dream leaving Galveston in 2027. She's headed back to New Orleans, but that leaves a gap in Galveston, and you have reached out to me to ask what ship is coming. And the only thing I can think to even say is that the answer to that is just over the horizon. I think we'll know just over the horizon. John Hild said that news is coming tomorrow, maybe or maybe not about Galveston. We don't know. But what ship is coming to Galveston just over the horizon is what I think. I don't know. That's what I hope, actually. I like that ship quite a bit. What ship do you hope comes to a port near you? We'll see. We'll see what happens here. These activities take place through the course of the month. Also wanted to share with the dancing of the ships is the Wonder of the Seas. Royal Caribbean's second newest Oasis class ship is moving to Miami. She's about almost there now, doing 3- and 4-night cruises to Perfect Day at Coco Cay on a 3-night cruise. If you're going a 4-night cruise, you're going to Nassau as well. Again, the second newest Oasis class ship, and that means that the newest and the second newest are both doing short cruises. These huge mega ships that there's no way you could even do anything over the course of a week. Now you have 3 days or 4 days to do it. They're going to get you hooked and hope that you come back again and again. Wonder of the Seas, cruising out of Miami. Are you excited about some of the dancing of the ships? Let us know in the comments section below. Islanders, that is the cruise news for today. The show always goes by so quick, but we have lots of content for you, both in this form and in vlog form and in ship tour form. Be sure before you leave the show today to do a few things. Number 1, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's hit 40,000 subscribers as soon as we can. That would be great. Number 2, like the video. Just hit the like if you're signed in. That's all you have to do. And number 3, be sure that you share some of your thoughts and comments just below. I'll be looking for those this afternoon and this evening. Can't wait to respond to you. Until then, have a great day. We'll see you in the comment section on our Facebook page and tomorrow right here on Island Time.